And a wonderful good day to you. This is Owen McCafferty speaking on behalf of the kindness of Professional Fusion. The topic of our discussion today is watch it, pricing may be retarding your growth. And for this, what I'd like to do is to maybe recount again what I find daily in practice and what I learned from a recent meeting. I was at the VMX, which is the East Coast variant of two of the biggest meetings that occur in veterinary medicine each year. The other one being in another 3 weeks at the Western Veterinary Conference, which I will also be attending. But the topic of this one relates to discussions that I had at the VMX and basically discussions I've had all this week after that, and some of the discussions even precedent on what the sensitivity has been in the American public to the provision of professional services and price increases. You know, during an inflationary period, we really don't know what the prices really are because inflation is only one of the components. Inflation's definition, the proper definition of inflation, is too many dollars chasing too few goods and services. Now, this makes a lot of sense because we don't have as many baby boomers. In fact, as I've said on numerous occasions, the baby boomers, including myself, are aging, graying, paunching, and balding. And as a result of that, they're being taken out of the workforce, either in whole through this R word known as retirement, or partially because the boomers have parts that are wearing out. Knees are going bad. Vision is bad. The capacity to have the energy levels is diminished. So those individuals that have been traditionally in their younger glorious years we're truly working a 50 to 65 hour work week in the professions, of course, are now not doing that. And in fact, they're trying to extricate themselves from the examination room, the surgery suite, the office, and are pursuing other things. Now, I'm not saying that's noble. In fact, I'm hoping to work until I drop. That's what my grandfather did. That's what my father did. And gosh darn it, I want to do it too. I'm very grateful to be in this country, and I think it's our duty to work as hard as we can, as long as we can, to help support the infrastructure that we call the United States parochially, and on a broader basis, North America. So what we're going to be doing is exploring on pricing. So pricing is something that is sensitive based on production. Now we also have the old millennials and Gen Zers and even the Gen Xers. The question has become, raised by the boomers of course, are they working as hard as we did? Well, when you talk with a lot of people, they'll laugh at you and say, well, of course we're not. We're smarter than you. Well, that level of intelligence is based upon the graciousness of others who have worked harder to provide the bounty so you can work less. But what happens when the graciousness of those and the bounty that they've generated is diminished either through their consumption or their diminishment of activity? That then becomes the question, can we sustain the lack of man-hour equivalents that our populations have been generating in order to pursue this quality of life? Well, quality of life assumes that someone's going to be paying the bills for you. And unfortunately, I don't see those bills being paid. So one of the things that we're going to have to be doing is looking at the man-hour equivalency. It does not seem that inflation will be diminished based upon an increase in production. If you remember the Jimmy Carter years, we had all these baby boomers, and they were being educated something that was rare. Their parents and grandparents didn't have that benefit of education. And when they got into the market in the first part of the 1980s, really after their entry-level jobs, and they were now producing something, they were really doing a good job of taking that man-hour equivalency and taking it through the roof. Plus, there are a lot of them. The baby boomers were so plentiful. And in relationship to the generations that they had to support, either their parents as traditionalists or their grandparents as immigrants that came over, they could do an awful lot. And they could work hard, and they could maintain that depression mentality that was really drilled into their heads by their parents and their grandparents, coupled with their education, and pulled us out of a pretty tough time. Well, let's zoom ahead. Let's not talk about the 1980s. Let's talk about the 2020s and close to the 2030s. Do we have the same level of devotion to the man-hour equivalents? Now, we're focusing in on the professions, obviously, but we can even take it into a broader range, and that is to take it into the service industries, the trades, which we are in desperate need of great people entering the trades, manufacturing, which you could make an argument in America and possibly North America, we've diminished our actual manufacturing capacities. And then let's go into raw materials, which for the last, 4 years, there's been an active effort to try to push the access to raw materials from North America. So when you start to look at all of these things, it's going to take a little while to kickstart raw materials, manufacturing goods,